Hey everybody, welcome to the Anthony and Todd Show. I'm your host Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the latest project from Spillage Village, Spilligion.
I think it's actually pronounced Spilligion.
Spilligion. Spillage Village is an American hip-hop collective made up of rappers, singers, and producers. It was created by Earth Gang back in 2010 after they recruited JID in college. I didn't know that they all went to college together, but that's pretty neat. Other members include brothers Hollywood JB and Jordan Bryant, producer Benji, the singer-producer Mariba, and the rapper-singer Black, otherwise known as Six Lack.
It's way cooler to call him Six Lack. Also, you forgot to mention he's rapper, singer, friend of Elton John, Six Lack.
Ah, yes, that's true. Black is hot off the heels at the time of this recording of the latest Gorillaz track with Elton John. And Elton John got drawn in Gorillaz style, but Black did not.
Because he's not worthy, I guess.
I guess not.
Get out of the way, Six Lack. We're not going to draw you.
Most of these members here are signed to J. Cole's Dreamville label and appeared on the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 mixtape from last year. Other releases from Spillage Village include the Bears Like This trilogy.
Bear Down for Midterms?
Bear Down for Midterms trilogy. I don't know why it's called that.
Oh, it's Bear Down for Midterms because they all met in college. It all comes together.
Everybody's friends from college.
Especially Six Lack and Elton John.
Spilligion has a handful of heavy-hitting features, including Ant Clemens, best known for his work on Yandhi, Ari Lennox, Chance the Rapper, and Lucky Day, who was nominated for a lot of Grammys, but I've never heard any Lucky Day projects. Honestly, I was kind of excited for this project because I really liked Earth Gang's last project, Mirrorland from last year, as well as JID's last couple of projects, especially DiCaprio 2 from 2018. They both did, I think, really good work on the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 mixtape, and the 3 singles that released in anticipation for this, End of Daze, Baptize, and Hapi. I was pretty excited to see what else this group could pull together. I feel like Dr. Dot and Johnny Venus of Earth Gang are pretty good curators when it comes to this kind of thing, and they posted a lot on their Facebook and Instagram about this release, so I don't know, I was really excited for it to come out. It seemed like it had a lot of interesting subject matter, and after listening to it a couple of times, I can honestly say that this project was way better than I expected it to be.
I was actually kind of scared for this project because I didn't know Spillage Village beforehand. I feel like I might have known it as like a passing fact before. We may have said in a review before, but I haven't listened to any of their discography before this. And after the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 compilation that was put out last year, that felt like it was like 10 years long. I was not excited for something else that I was assuming was going to be another compilation, but this isn't. This is an album by a collective. They all help each other out. They all fill in the voids for the other members. They all contrast and complement each other in such dynamic ways. This truly is more of a Brockhampton or like a Wu-Tang Clan than it is something like a Dreamville Revenge of the Dreamers 3 scenario.
Yeah, I feel like I really like each one of these tracks for different reasons. They all have excellent production and excellent hooks that I just find to be really like sweet and soulful, and each one stands out from the other ones. Like, none of these tracks really run together. Each one has its own individual identity, and to me, I feel like that's really important when reviewing an album, like that each track feels like its own thing versus all part of like one big project. Some tracks I really enjoy, Psalm Sing, Family with the Up Pray for the Peace hook on there. I love it. It gets stuck in my head all the time.
Yeah, JID's vocals this time around are spectacular. Like,
yes,
everyone on this has pretty good vocals. Like, there's no one fault in this entire lineup, this project. Even the features, like even Chance, like this time around, like it's like, oh yeah, Chance was good. You remember that? I remember before he loved his wife so much it like crippled any like creativity for him. Like,
exactly.
He comes through as genuine this time around, which is very nice. Like, this project gives me vibes, especially with like the subject matter of things like College Dropout and Coloring Book. Like, they have elements of gospel to them and they have religious themes, but at the end of the day, it's more about humanity, and that's the thing that shines out, and hope and optimism.
Yeah, it isn't like a Jesus is King kind of deal here.
Yeah, while there is like tough subject matter, like they talk about police violence on Baptize, and they mention the pandemic on a lot of these tracks, it isn't just like mindless worship or mindless hope. Like there's genuine optimism, and I think when you go into Baptize, like I think 2 lines by Dr. Dutt kind of sum up like the stance of where this album is one of them being, and only God can judge, and that's only if he still gives a fuck. Everyone knows Jesus hangs with the hose killers and criminals, like setting up these more humanic structures for religious figures, I think is really nice, and taking elements from gospel, making them more humanizing, I think is what made albums like Coloring Book and College Dropout so good, is because they're so humanizing and relatable.
Exactly. I really like that, like when this project can critique religion, but in a, I guess, respectful way. Like they don't make like figures like Jesus or whoever else to be like the bad guy. They make people that misinterpret the gospel or religion as the bad guys. And I think that that's like a really important distinction that they make, is like they're not like openly critiquing the idea of God. They make it very clear that they like respect that idea. They're critiquing people on earth that are misinterpreting that.
Yeah.
And I like that they talk about like their roots in their African history and their ancestry that they're proud of in tracks like Mecca or Family. They talk about more earthly things like love and romantic love on tracks like Cupid. They talk about the apocalypse, obviously, on End of Daze. They talk about the old man of the woods that Justin Timberlake was talking about on Hapi.
Yeah, this is such a dynamic album too. Like, there's a ton of like great guitar work, a ton of great keys. Like, there's not one like vibe or atmosphere or genre that they're really pulling for. Like, you get some moments that are kind of funkyish. There, you get some moments that are very trap inspired. You get moments that are definitely gospel inspired or have a dub influence to them, like Mecca. Everyone a part of this album seems better after this album. Like, they all look like $1,000,000. Again, JID, his vocal range on this is impeccable. Earth Gang, Dr. Dot, and Johnny Venus seem like they have this newfound gelatinous to them, which is more focused this time around. Mariba, who I've never really heard of before, has like a incredible potential to her, and she's fantastic across this entire thing. Hollywood JB and Jordan Bryant, who I'm not super familiar with, this shocked me this time around, and Six Lack with this and the Gorillaz song is really impressing me with his performances lately.
Yeah, I just really like this. I really like the production on here. It reminds me of something that my choir teacher told me once, where he basically said if you have 50 members in one section and 50 in another section, and one section's not singing, you put all 100 people on one part, and it creates a bigger sound. And I feel like that's what's happening here. Like, none of these tracks are sparse. None of these tracks are like minimalistic. Let's just say like JID doesn't necessarily like have a feature on one of these tracks. You better bet he's still in the background singing and part of the chorus. It just makes all of these tracks come through with like really thick and luscious chords, very lush sounding choruses and production work. Like, everything just seems so full and full of life, and I just really enjoy that. From an album that is talking about like serious subjects. It's still like very positive and very optimistic at the end of it all.
You have to look no further than Hapi, like one of the closer tracks of this album, of being that like full of life. It seems very naturalistic. It feels like it's taking place in the forest where they say this old man playing the piano is. Like, it's very natural and glistening, and it feels like everything's in the right place where it needs to be. And I think that also goes where the rest of this album is. It just feels like everything how it should be.
Even after they talk about all sorts of things that might go wrong, or, you know, Happy takes place right after the End of Days track where they're talking about the end of the world. But then at the end, they're like, you know what, things are okay how they are. And that's not to say that we don't need to make changes as a world or as a country or as individuals or whatever, but they are optimistic for our ability to make that change. I think that's an important message to leave us with. The only track I don't necessarily always care for, not to leave this review on a sour note, but the only track that I don't necessarily care for is our end track, Jupiter. It just feels really out of place, and I understand why it's there and how it ties up the album so well, but it is such a weird stylistic departure from the rest of the album that I'm not sure I necessarily care for it. It's almost like at the end of a musical and everybody comes out and does bows. That's almost like what it feels like.
Yeah, I feel like it plays into Happy enough for me personally. That it feels like an outro track more than an actual track, I guess.
That's the point of it, I think.
But yeah, I think this is completely well balanced and focused and surprising. It has a lot of humanity to it, and it's completely breathtaking and has such a full and large sound. Keep in mind those scores are futile meals right now. I think this is a 9. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 9 as well. Earthgang did just a great job. Those boys did a great job with curating this whole thing and getting this together.
That is it for the review. Until next time, guys, if you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Anthony and Todd. You can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, and Spotify by searching your Anthony and Todd show in your favorite podcast browser. And if you want to support us monetarily, you can find us at Patreon, patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
And see you, boyos.
Bye, everybody.